Okay, it's time for us to navigate through sometimes the very murky waters of the social media, and Olamide Odekunle has always been our pilot, and she steers the ship very well.
Aye, Captain. You both of you are my co-pilots, and I have to say, you fly the plane very well. But team, I have to say, we're starting with some unsavory news this morning. Let's have a look at what is trending now. Good morning to our audience. Thank you for joining us here on the Trending Now segment on the TVC Breakfast Show. I like to say that TVC has a finger on the pulse and our eyes on the streets. And this morning, especially, our eyes are really on the streets. Now, if you're planning to use the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway today, you may want to rethink your route. Multiple crashes at Kara Bridge have reportedly claimed the life of one person and left several others injured, triggering a major traffic disruption. While the emergency responders were at the scene clearing the site of this accident, a second crash occurred on the inbound carriageway towards Lagos, involving a Mazda commercial bus. Joining us live on the phone from the scene of the multiple crash is Lagos Sector Commander of the FRSC, Mr. Kende Hamzat. Good morning, Commander. Are you with me this morning? Can you hear me?
I'm with you. A beautiful morning to you.
A beautiful morning to you too. I'm so sorry at the bloodshed that you must have witnessed this morning. But we know now that this is not just one accident. It is a multiple crash incident. We know that the first accident occurred at 12:05 a.m. involving 5 articulated trucks and I believe a Toyota Sienna. And the second one that now convoluted this issue was another accident or a collision at 3:15 a.m. Involving a Mazda vehicle. What can you tell us about the situation on ground? Social media videos are circulating. We know that one man is crucially trapped under a vehicle. We know that the FRSC emergency rescue team is on ground, LACIMA as well, and several emergency responders to attend to this multiple collision. But what's happening on ground? How many have been injured? And what is going to take place after this? And what are you advising for people who plan to use that route?
Yes, thank you very much. As it is, the both ends of Lagos-Ibadan is experiencing, almost a collapse state. However, we want to thank God that the crash claimed only one life so far that we have discovered. A Sienna was trapped under an articulated vehicle. There are 6 vehicles involved. 2 had been removed from the crash scene. So effort is being put on to remove the other 3 articulated plus the Sienna that was trapped under. However, the victim that was in the Sienna actually lost his life and has been taken to Idera Hospital there at Shagamu. So effort is being put by all agencies to ensuring that the road is free. As a result of the crash, people going outward Lagos are driven against traffic, blocking people coming into Lagos. So both inward and outward are experiencing slight gridlock. However, all other people are still on ground, ensuring that the road is cleared. That is the situation as of now.
Absolutely. Commander, I read in the press release that from your organization that we are advised right now to use other routes. But aside from that, I want to know, what is your take on this issue? Was it a loss of control? Was it brake failure? Was it speeding? What caused these multiple accidents? Is there a pattern to be seen? And how long exactly do you think it would take, roughly an estimate, for the road to be cleared and for traffic to restore to normal? Also, we're condoling with the family of the victim who you said passed away.
Sincerely, we are looking at a situation where we can remove some of the loads, because we are already putting men together to ensuring that the loads carried by some of these vehicles are being removed. Be that as it may, it may be very, very difficult to tell you precisely that the road will be clear at this particular moment. But give and take, let me not be a prophet of doom. Let me say within an hour or 2 at most, the road should be cleared. However, don't forget that any obstacle or obstruction along Lagos-Ibadan Expressway will take some time for the backlog to be cleared. As per the cause of the road traffic crash, I want to say, because it has not been investigated, so it is a probable cause. The expansion joint around Kara that is still not filled outward Lagos is the so-called meaning that could have caused that to avoid that expansion joint And if you don't look very well, you end up going into another vehicle. And that is the initial cause of that crash before they collide. I will say that if motorists are going on an expressway, especially the ones they are not familiar with, they should be observant and be careful. Speed is involved, and of course, the expansion joints that are not being closed is another thing that must have caused that crash.
Absolutely. Commander, I wish you and your men Godspeed as you managed to tackle the unfortunate fallout of this accident. Thank you so much for being here today, and I hope that you can get that cleared very soon. We wish you Godspeed.
Thank you so very much. My sincere pleasure.
Now, this morning, Mr. Shomi and Etoma, we did discuss very briefly on the table about the traffic that was causing gridlock, or the incident, what led to this. But we did not know the magnitude at this point, that it was multiple collisions, one at 12:05 a.m., one at 3:15 a.m. I mean, 5 articulated trucks. He did say that one person, there's been one casualty, but they've managed to at least send the other people to the emergency care center in Lagos, I believe, from their press release. You know, people speed on expressways all the time, Mr. Shomi, and it's a shame that nobody could outmaneuver themselves out of this accident. For somebody to be trapped under a car, for 5 articulated trucks to be involved in this accident, it's a very, very scary scene. Are there alternate routes for people who are going to be traveling today or using that area?
Well, it's quite very unusual, you know, for you to have that kind of accident, you know, involving 5 articulated trucks. Lorries. I mean, yes, you can have 1 or 2 colliding, but to have 5 with a Sienna, quite unusual. A lot of it could be due to people are tired. If they're driving in the night, they're tired, or they have consumed some other substances, you know, which affected their judgment. So at the end of the day today is going to be a very tough day for people trying to get out of Lagos. So it's either you cancel or rearrange your plan, or you go through another route.
And the only other route I can think of now is going through Ekwe. But what if you're going to Ibadan? You know, how do you do it? Those kind of gridlocks are always, how do I put it? They're always very tiring. You know, just even looking at it and not being part of it, not being in the gridlock yourself, you wonder how many hours and how much fuel, taking into consideration the cost of fuel right now, that will be burnt, and without you making any advancement in your journey. So my advice is, please cancel whatever journey you have for today, and if you must go, use an alternative route.